Alright guys, today we're going to be talking about the queue data structure. Alright, so if we look here, the queue is the exact same thing as a stack, except it follows a first in first out protocol, whereas the stack follows the last in first out protocol. As you can see, there's the same 6 functions, except with the queue it's called enqueue and dequeue when we're pushing and popping. And then we can also implement this 2 ways, statically or dynamically. Alright, let's jump into the code. Alright, so here I'm using Visual Studio 2019. Go ahead and create an empty project. Alright, so here we are in the project. Go ahead and create 3 source files. One will be the class queue and the other will be your driver. Alright, so here we are in main.cpp. Go ahead and include the class header file. From there you can go ahead and declare your main driver. Okay, from here we can go ahead and create a simple menu. Okay, so here's our simple menu. Let's go ahead and go to the queue.h. In here we'll go ahead and include our directories that we need. All we should need is the IO stream. And then I'm going to go ahead and include namespaces where I need them. That'll be in main.cpp. And in queue.cpp. Okay, so in class queue, let's go ahead and declare our functions. Once that's done, let's go ahead and use the shortcut Control+Enter to create the definitions. Okay, let's go ahead and declare these functions as public. Let's also create a private section. In this private section, since we're going to be using arrays for this implementation, let's go ahead and define a dynamic array. Also, let's declare our constructor and destructor. Also, create the definitions for those. One less variable we need is a size. Okay, here in our queue.cpp, let's go ahead and get started on all these functions. We'll start with the constructor. What we need to do is get a size for the array. We need to create the array, and then we need to set the variable size equal to whatever they gave us. One shortcut we can take is by saying this pointer size. This way we can save 4 bytes of memory, since an integer would be 4 bytes. Alright, so here in our destructor, all we're going to do is delete the array, and we're going to print a message to the user. One quick note, make sure you include the brackets in between the delete keyword and the variable name. Okay, so one more variable we need is a position counter, so that we know where in the array we are. We'll call it pause. Back in the constructor, we'll go ahead and set pause equal to -1 since arrays start at 0. Okay, so since we have to use isEmpty and isFull in the other functions, we'll go ahead and write those first. Okay, so for the isEmpty function, we need to check if the position is equal to -1. If so, that means we haven't pushed anything in yet. Okay, with the isFull, we need to check if position is equal to size -1. The -1 comes from the fact that arrays are starting at index 0. Okay, now that we have those two subfunctions done, we can go ahead and start working on enqueue. For enqueue, we need to check if the queue is full or not. If it's full, we print an error. If it's not, then we need to insert a new element at the position. Make sure you include position ++ because remember we initialized it to -1 and array start at 0. Okay, so now we can work on the dequeue function. This is where the difference between stack and queue comes in. Remember with the queue, we want to take it off from the front. Whatever we put in first, we gotta take out. Okay, for this function, we need to check if the queue is empty. If so, we print a error message. If not, then we need to take out the element in the first position of the array, and then we need to shift everything to the front of the array. Okay, to actually dequeue, we need to use a for loop, and we need to use the condition of I less than size -1. Because of the algorithm we're using an algorithm that says the index is equal to the index to the right of it, and when we get to the last index, there's nothing to the right of it, so when it goes to look for that, it's going to crash our program. That's why we specified size -1. Alright, for our peek function, this is pretty easy. All we need to do is access the first element in the array, so we can just print a message with that in it. Let's also do some error checking for this because we can't peek if it's empty. Okay, so here in print, all we need to do is check if the queue is empty, and if it's not empty, then we just traverse with the for loop and print each element. Okay, now that that's done, we have all of our functions complete. Let's go ahead and go back to main.cpp and fill them into the switch. First, what we have to do is actually create a queue object. From there, we can call each specific function using the object and the dot operator. Alright, don't forget the case 0, which is our quit function. In this function, we need to make sure that we call the destructor so that we free up memory. Okay, because we declared the queue as just a regular object, we need to go ahead and redo that and make it a dynamic pointer object. Alright, there we go. And now we need to change the dot operator to the arrow operator. I don't know what it's called, but that's how I think of it. Okay, as you can see, all those errors went away. Let's go ahead and debug this thing. Okay, so two things we forgot to do are include a while loop, an infinite loop so that this runs forever until we tell it not to. And then we also need to add a system pause and system clear screen so that it looks nice. Okay, for the system clear screen and system pause, we want to do it outside of the switch or else it won't do it. Okay, so after adding those two things, we're here debugging it. As you can see, the constructor is called. We'll give it a size. Okay, and here is the menu that we created. Let's go ahead and enqueue some stuff. Okay, so as you can see, it's actually calling all of our functions. That's because we didn't include breaks. You need to include a break after each function call in the switch. We'll go ahead and copy this and paste it. Okay, this is round 2. Let's go ahead and put the same size, 5, and then we'll enqueue some stuff. Alright, so we enqueued 3 items. Let's go ahead and print, see if it did it correctly. Alright, so it did. and it's showing us that the last two positions are null. I'm thinking we can fix that later. Let's go ahead and check all the other stuff. Let's go ahead and try to DQ. So this will DQ from the front. Alright, let's print. As you can see, it took away 2, which was in position 0, and then it moved everything up, which is what we want. That's how Q works. Let's check the peek function. It says first in Q is 3, and that's true. Let's go ahead and DQ everything, and we should have just a bunch of random numbers, and we do. Okay, let's go ahead and fix this. Alright, so here in the print function, we need to change this condition of less than size to less than position, because if we do size, it'll print out some goofy numbers if not all the positions are filled. So we'll just do that. Now let's run this for a third time. We'll input some stuff. Alright, as you can see, it's printing out 2 things, but I inputted 3, and that's because we need to do position plus 1. Or actually, a better way to do this is just to do less than or equal to. Now this should work. Alright, there you go. It's printing out only what's filled, and remember there's 5 in this queue, and it's printing out 3, so everything's working. Hope you guys enjoyed, hope you guys learned something. Any video suggestions, put it down in the comments. Thanks for watching. One last thing before I go, all the source code is down in the description if you need it.